Will Nick Saban continue to cast his spell over Kirby Smart? Or will Kirby Smart finally break the hex and bring the Georgia Bulldogs back to the championship table for the first time in 41 years? I think Georgia's due. Let's find out. Here we go again on our own. Oh, yeah. I used to love that song growing up by White Snake. Probably one of the most underrated hard rock bands of all time. Google them and check them out. But that's neither here nor there. But that song reminds me of the University of Alabama this year. Here we go again on our own. By the mere fact that once again it seems like the media in Georgia, to some degree, but not so much as the media continues to give out what Nick Saban likes to call rat poison, which is basically bulletin board material for Alabama. Vegas once again has Georgia as a favorite. The media once again is billing this as the time of Georgia, the time that Kirby Smart finally gets over the Alabama hump, the time that Georgia finally joins everybody else at the national championship table for the first time since 1980. But the thing is, all they're doing is feeding Alabama Nick Saban more of that yummy rat poison that he said that they fed them the week they played them. And it really boggles my mind that they would continue on doing the things that they're doing just like they did last time. It's like the old saying goes, like I've said in many other videos, the definition of insanity is to continue to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. And I think that they're already giving Alabama motivation in this game. The worst thing that could have happened to Georgia was being favored, in my opinion. But this could be Georgia's time. They are due. They've been ever so close so many times against Alabama in the last 7 games, save maybe 1 or 2 games. Even the games where Alabama won by 17, the games were close at halftime and well into the third quarter. A few bad breaks here and there for Georgia end up allowing Alabama to gain some separation. But for the most part, these have been very close games. So you would think laws of average would work out in the favor of Georgia and that they would finally get over that Fonzie curse and win a national championship. Now, in order for Georgia to do that, they're going to have to be able to slow down that passing game. The media just keeps blowing up the fact that they shut Michigan down. Look how they shut Michigan down. Look at what they did to Michigan. They're much improved. They learned from that loss. They're refocused, and now they're going to take out the mighty Alabama Crimson Tide. But things don't always end like they do in the movies. You know, Rocky come back in Rocky 2 and won the title. In reality, in real life, what would probably have happened is Apollo Creed would have beat Rocky both times. And you would have had Apollo Creed, of course, fighting Clubber Lang in Rocky 3. But anyway, back to the subject at hand. Alabama. A lot of people cling to the fact that Alabama lost John Mechie. That's another thing they're clinging to. That's their big thing right now. Oh, we ain't got John. They don't have John Mechie, so that gives us the edge that we need. But I'm sorry to tell them that they're hinging everything on that. They're going to be vastly disappointed because John Mechie, while he's a good receiver, he's basically a guy that has seniority and he runs routes better than all the other guys because all the other guys are freshmen or sophomores. But they are coming into their own, especially Ja'Cory Brooks. Coming into his own. You got JoJo Earl, G. Hall, and then you got a Herndon guy. They're all coming into their own. They were all 5-star wide receivers. John Mechie is probably going to become more of a possession receiver in the NFL if he can get his hands to be just a little bit better. Sometimes he has stone hands, but I see his future as a possession receiver. If he doesn't work on that, he's unable to become a possession receiver, probably won't last that long in the NFL. But that's neither here nor there. Alabama will probably access and use their tight ends a little more in this game if they're smart. If they can get Latu and Jaleel Billingsley involved more in the passing game, the void left by Mechie, I think, will not be noticed at all. So Georgia will once again have to be able to come up with a scheme. They're going to have to come up with something. What they need to do, and Kirby is a great defensive mastermind, in my opinion. They need to go back and look at whatever Auburn did and whatever LSU did in order to stop these guys. If they can do that, and the fact they have the revenge factor in their corner, and the fact that they have the most motivation in this game to win, they may actually finally pull this off. But see, Alabama, another thing is these people are so tired of dynasties. They're like, man, we're so tired of this. We're so tired of Alabama winning championship every other year. It's not good for the sport. It makes for boring games or yada, yada, yada. They come up with all these excuses. But I want to tell them something. Dynasties aren't completely a bad thing. It gives people something to shoot for. In every sport that there is, everybody likes to have a villain or a champion that wins the championship a lot. Someone that they want to topple. Somebody that makes them feel good in what they've done. It gives them a grand accomplishment. And if it's Alabama from the early 2000s, who was passé in beating, everybody was beating Alabama in the early 2000s, it's not that fun to beat a bad Alabama team. So for them to complain about the dynasty, blah, 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 it's really inaccurate. Because let's go back to the Bulls in the 90s. 6 out of 8 titles. And the ratings were great. It was a dynasty and the ratings were great. Even further back, Joe Montana with the San Francisco 49ers won 5 championships. Ratings were great. Tom Brady, when he was with the Patriots, won numerous championships. And the ratings were great. So I'm getting tired of hearing about how dynasties are not good for the sport. They're actually a good thing, in my opinion. Alabama, in order to win this game again, is just going to have to be like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Go out there and try to do the same exact thing you did in the first game. I know it's easier said than done, but I think the key is if we integrate those tight ends, Georgia could be in huge trouble. So, and on Georgia's side of the ball, something they didn't do last time, I think they may need to work on, is getting their running game started. They need to go back and look at what Florida did when Florida cared about football. Florida was able to run the ball on Alabama and come very close to winning that game. If they can get Zamir White involved in this game early and get the running game started and open up the passing game, you got George Pickens back at near full strength. This could open it up for Stetson Bennett and make it a lot easier for them. I think they may look at that. And this may finally be their time that they get over that hump and they finally join the championship table for the first time since 1980. So I'm going to say that in the end, Georgia finally overcomes and they win the game. I think they're going to have to keep it in the 20s. They can just slow that passing game down some. Maybe integrate some of the stuff that Auburn and LSU did. They can finally get over the hump and finally win a national championship for the first time since 1980. I'm going to say Georgia's going to win this game 27-23. P.S. I changed my mind. Kiss my ass. Alabama's going to win this game again. They may not win it by 17, but they're going to win it again by double digits. Alabama 31, Georgia 20. And with that, I'm going to get off of here. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. And as always, KMCA to all the other teams.